Hello and welcome to Quarterlight and another Saturday special, continuing looking at the Nissan range for 85. Now we're up to the Nissan Bluebird. Welcome back, and if you're new to Quarterlight, we're a car brochure channel here on YouTube, looking at car brochures for the 60s, 70s, 80s and 90s, sometimes beyond that as well. So if that might interest you, please consider liking and of course subscribing. It really helps the channel. Now today, we've been going through that Nissan range, that vast Nissan range in 1985. We're up to the Nissan Bluebird. She's Saturday Special, so it's kind of like a shortened version really than your weekly one, so we better get on with that now. Here we go, the Bluebird, or Bluebird Saloon Estate and Turbo ZX, as we can see for this particular title. I don't know why, I don't know if it's just me, I always found the Bluebird a very interesting car, even though in reality it wasn't really a very interesting car. I mean, if you've ever been on a Bluebird, they're very bland. The key to these really is well built, extremely reliable, but certainly not exciting to drive, but still I kind of find them really quite fascinating. These are the U11s. Those people who have been watching Quarterlight for some time will know we've already covered the Nissan Bluebird, but we actually covered a later one. It was an 87 brochure we looked at last time. Let's see if I can dig that one out. This is the last one we looked at for this 87 brochure. Of course, it's changed, wraparound bumpers, etc, etc. These are the later ones. Big difference really. By this time, they're being built sort of like as knockdown kits in the UK, and they sold really well. I think also, interestingly, my dad, his company car, you could only get cars that were built in Britain, really, because they're British gas, so they only said you can only have a company car that's built in Britain. This now reached the list, so you know, alongside your Sierra you could pick a Bluebird if you wanted to, so that was interesting. So I kind of think that was quite memorable for me growing up, seeing that Nissan on the list. I'm kind of like waffling a bit and I do apologise. These are the early ones of course, and we need to concentrate on these ones. They kind of like, I don't know, they kind of like look a bit more Japanesey. I don't know if that's just me, but built in Japan at this time. But interesting, I don't think they really lost any sort of build quality by building in Britain, just to show that in Britain we could actually build a good car, or at least assemble a good car if we really wanted to. These U11s ran from 83 to 87, I do believe. But the estate, that was an interesting car, the estate. It lasted a lot longer. I think it was 84 to 90. So weirdly in this range, and I'll probably flick back to it because I can't help waffling about them, probably we'll see that, you know, the estate looked way different than the UK built ones. I don't know if they actually, no, I guess they probably didn't do it to the 90 in the UK, because certainly this is a more updated estate in here. But anyway, Saturday Special, I keep telling myself it has to be a faster one. Let's zoom in on this picture. So this time the brochure is telling us there's a 1.8 and a 2 litre and a 1.8 Turbo ZX, which it doesn't for whatever reason bother showing that. Interestingly, we've still got bits of chrome still on the trim at this time, interestingly enough. But a very plain looking car for sure. Certainly a car that's more for your traditional buyer, rather than, you know, your hatchback on the Stanza that we looked at last week. Quite like the styling. I kind of like how it reverses back. It looks very Japanesey to me. I don't know. Even if you didn't know anything about cars, you'd think this is a Japanese car. And here's that even more interesting estate. I always found the estates Bluebirds particularly interesting. And I must admit, I don't remember these as well as I remember the later UK ones. I guess the UK ones we sold a lot more, so we saw a lot more of them in the UK. I guess before I just can't help but show you this. I guess before we start looking at the text and some of these specs, let's just show you that later brochure and show you how different the estate was in 87. So this is your Bluebird in 87, and like I say, built in knockdown kits in the UK by this stage. Kind of like garners this fancy sort of design on the light, more updated rounded lights, and now wraparound bumpers, as you can see. And obviously we've lost all that chrome. Fair enough, that makes perfect sense. What doesn't really make perfect sense, in my opinion, as we flick through terribly in this brochure and have to make you wait. Here we go. Yeah, let's keep going. Yes, we're very professional on this channel, aren't we? Look at the estate in 87. How weird. You know, they like to carry on the estates, and of course this would have been a Japanese built estate that was running alongside it, which was kind of weird really, wasn't it? Anyway, Saturday Special, we must move on. Okay, so let's put this brochure away that we're not even supposed to be even looking at, and actually look at the car we're supposed to. I'll put a little bit of a clip to the actual video for that later on if anyone really does want to look at it. Let's continue actually reading the text, which is what we're supposed to be doing. It says here, with front wheel drive, new for Nissan, the front wheel drive Bluebird range, offering a winning combination of accommodation with high performance and outstanding road holding and handling. The range includes a 1.8 2-litre engine saloons and estates and the very exciting 1.8 Turbo ZX. All are powered by versions of Nissan's CA series engine, which has excellent flexibility and smoothness, with a very quick throttle response. Bluebird saloons and estates are available with either a 5-speed gearbox with both 4th and 5th gears overdrive ratios, or with a 4-speed automatic transmission. This too has its highest ratio and overdrive, so nice to see a 4-speed auto at this time. The auto gearbox also has a lockup feature which bypasses the torque converter at cruising speeds to give more miles per gallon. 121 miles per hour Bluebird Turbo ZX Saloon has a very high output, maximum power is 135. A 5-speed gearbox which has been specially selected ratios, tuned suspension, alloy wheels and low profile tyres give it a unique character. Can't ever remember seeing Bluebird Turbo ZXs on these early ones. Certainly I remember them all over the place. The later ones from sort of 87 as we looked at that last brochure. Bluebird estate models combine very large carrying capacity with all the comfort and refinement of the saloons. Specifications, let's have a look, see what's going to show us on the specs for these models. Sorry, the writing is very small for the specifications in this brochure. Okay, so like I say, 1.8 2-litre and Turbo ZX. So 1809 cc is a 1.8, the 2-litre is a 1973 cc, and the same engine 1809 on the Turbo ZX, but obviously turbocharged. 4-speed auto only available on the 2-litre at this time by the looks of it. Mix of disc and drum brakes apart from that ZX Turbo, which had disc brakes all round, which was nice. And at the bottom there we can see sort of the fuel economy figures. Not bad for a family car at its time, I guess, but nothing exceptional by any stretch of the imagination. Next week, a very interesting car. I don't know why these Nissans are so interesting. I don't know, because really they're not really exciting to drive, but there's something interesting about them. This one particularly, Nissan Laurel, look at the styling. Let's not look at the styling. We'll save that for next week. But that's certainly something to look at as we move up the range. Still lots of Nissans to go, of course, but Nissan Laurel next week. Okay, so that's the Nissan Bluebird range. I wonder if any of you remember this Nissan Bluebird, not the later ones, but these earlier Japanese ones. I can't remember if I do or not, because as a kid, you know, Bit fuzzy, isn't it? Remembering these to the earlier UK, to the later UK ones. I can't remember if I remember them or not. Please jot it in the comments if you do, though. Always love reading those. Saturday Special, we're trying to make the episodes shorter, around about 10 minutes, just to change things up a little bit. I know some people prefer a shorter episode, so we better wrap it up there. But please do like and subscribe, that does help the channel greatly. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Monday, we'll continue looking at that Lancia range. But for now, we'll say take care and goodbye.